What is up YouTube, my name is John and welcome to my top 10 albums of 2021. Now honestly, 2021 can go because yeah, let's face it, this year kinda sucked major balls in many ways, but we got a lot of awesome music and I'm gonna share my top 10 records with you today guys, so let's go with number 10. Number 10 goes to Hellish Form, Remains. Now, I never thought that I needed some funeral drone sludge in my life, but this album made me think otherwise. I randomly saw the cover art in another top 10 list somewhere on the internet, and the cover art just got me thinking, what kind of music is going to be behind this beautiful cover art? And I mean, just look at this guy. This guy is not here to fuck around, okay? This band is raw, slow, full of despair, guitars are just wall-shattering and the vocals are just soul-taking. You know, at first I thought that I'm gonna listen to like 30 seconds of this album and turn it off, but I actually made it through the whole album. It's 4 songs, but some of these songs are over 10 minutes long, so get ready for that. But there's enough variety to keep you interested in these songs, and it's definitely not for everyone, okay? It's not for the impatient ones, but if you appreciate dark atmospheres and slow and heavy shit, I say give it a shot. Now, number 9 goes to Times of Grace, Songs of Loss and Separation. Now, this band is more of a project of Adam D and Jesse Leach from Killswitch Engage, and they realized one of my favorite albums of all time. That was their debut album, Hymn of a Broken Man. That album is fantastic, and while this one didn't quite top that album, it got pretty damn close, like raw emotions in what is just Jesse's best vocal work to date, and beautifully crafted songs are really what sold this album to me. You've got uplifting songs like Rescue, and then you have the more dark ones like Bleed Me or Far From Heavenless. There is heavy, there is beautiful, but there is also a lot of, you know, sadness and reflecting in this album, I feel like. And while this album didn't personally top the Hymn of a Broken Man for me, I think that this album is actually better at distancing itself from the Killswitch Engage material, because some people have been saying that the first album sounds a little too much like Killswitch Engage, so this album is more of its own thing, of its own little world, and, you know, it feels like a personal catharsis in the form of music, and that works for me. Number 8 is Hereta, Mast under Watten. I actually had to write that down. Now, it is not easy to talk about this album, okay, because you just need to hear this thing for yourself and make your own thoughts, because the song structures are just so unique, the guitars are so low tuned, and there are some really interesting vocal patterns and palettes in this album. It is really not easy to talk about this album in the human language because it is just so out there, but, you know, some people say it's like way too chaotic, but there are some, you know, recurring themes that bubble up here and there in the album that just kind of, you know, appear, disappear, and they come back again later. It is just full of surprises and twists that you will not find anywhere else, trust me. Simply put, Fall is still going strong. Now, number 7 goes to Ice Nine Kills, The Silver Scream 2, Welcome to Harwood. Now, not only they have the most fun to watch music videos with a bigger story woven throughout almost all of them, but the music is just so much fun to listen to. And, you know, put Corpse Grinder's massive neck muscles in a blender with them and you'll get this. But wait, there is more. Catchy choruses, theatricality and funny parts. I mean, to hear the sound of breaking tires being used in a musical way, come on, how can you not like that? You know, I thought that the first Silver Scream album was already a freaking banger, but this one is even better. It's like they had this little formula going on that they just keep on perfecting, and, you know, combine that with a deadly sharp sound and you've got this super banger of an album. Definitely check this out if you have not checked it out yet, because it is just freaking... Sorry, that was my breakfast coming out. Alright, and number 6 goes to Lorna Shore and I Return to Nothingness. Now, this is a little bit of a cheat here because this is not an album, this is an EP. But oh my god, these 3 songs just crushed everything else in the deathcore territory for me this year. I don't usually, listen to deathcore in my car, or I don't add deathcore songs into my playlist. But all of these 3 songs on this EP are there. Breakdowns are even more insane than before. I thought that impossible. Nope, here comes the flying ramen hair demon named Will Ramos and turns his vocal cords into the fabric of the hellscape itself. But amongst all the heavy, there is still plenty of epic melodies and memorable choruses. Memorable. Number 5 goes to Era and a self-titled album, Era. Now, you think metalcore riffs are bland and boring? Well, fuck me sideways and call me Carl if you still think that after listening to this record. You want your core to be a little bit more proggy? House of Glass it is. You want massive hooks? Divisionary is here, brother. Spacey atmosphere and orgasmic solos. Lunar Halo is your body. The duality of the vocals is just so much fun to listen to, and this record just has overall a great mix of heavy, proggy, melodic and creative. It is just a good year to become an Era fan, because this thing slaps extra hard. Number 4 goes to Archspire, Bleed the Future. Now, some bands raise the bar of what can actually be done in music. Archspire literally caked that bar so high that others don't even try to look for it anymore. Insanely speedy, brutal, technical death metal that knows when to slow it down a little, only to fuck you in the ass with a 400 BPM song. The last record, Relentless Mutation, was already really crazy in this regard, but here everything is even more polished and even more well written. How do they do it? Is it the maple syrup, or do they eat beavers and hockey pucks for breakfast? Well, we might never find out, but hell, this album is just loaded with fun stuff. It almost feels illegal to hear something this crazy. Number 3, we are getting to the metal positions right here, belongs to Gjira, Fortitude. Now, Gjira found a really nice spot between writing stadium anthems like Born for one thing, Amazonia, but the heavier stuff is still there. You have songs like Sphinx and Grind that will just grind you down, oh my god. I will probably never be over Mario's drumming, that is a little world of its own, and Joe even learned the throat singing for the song Amazonia, like holy balls. The chant will definitely be a shit ton of fun live, and my personal favorite is Into the Storm. That is just a Godzilla of a song that I will always love. Oh my god. This record just doesn't bore me for a second, and even though I wish the vocals were a little bit higher in the mix, it doesn't lessen my enjoyment from this album, and it is still an incredible record from front to the back. And now for the silver medal, the second place goes to Spiritbox. I was afraid that the hype surrounding the release of Eternal Blue will ruin the experience for me a bit, and in a way, I was right. My initial first experience was just pure joy, but thinking about it later on, when I was able to process the album better, I didn't even think it would break my top 10, to be honest. However, I kept going through the songs one by one, and even the title track that I couldn't get into on my first, second, or even third listen, I eventually fell in love with. The only track that didn't quite connect with me is We Live in a Strange World, but everything else is just a beautiful, melancholic, weird, crazy, heavy, intense, personal, atmospheric. Yeah, you see, I'm just so glad that I took my time with this album to really, soak this record in, because I love this band so much and I cannot wait to hear and see them live again, and especially hear these new songs, because I think that we have something really special going on here, and I cannot wait where they take their musical direction in the future, because this is insanely promising. Now, before I reveal my number 1 record for this year, I'm just gonna roll my honorable mentions right now. Alright, so my favorite record for year 2021 goes to Trivium in the Court of the Dragon. In spite of all the hate behind these eyes, I've seen that only one of us survive. Now, I have no text prepared for this record, so I'm just gonna talk about it a little bit. This record, from the beginning till the end, I was never bored for a single second. Every single song is just crafted almost to perfection. Like, you have straightforward bangers with massive hooks like Feast of Fire or No Way Back Just Through, but you also have these massive 7-minute compositions like The Phalanx and The Shadow of the Abattoir. And by the way, in The Shadow of the Abattoir, you have what I believe is Matt Heafy's best clean vocal performance ever. Like, some of those high notes that he's hitting, you know, at the end of the song are just probably one of the highest notes that he has been ever hitting. Maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But again, Crisis of Revelation, one of my favorite songs this year. The chorus is just so simple, but it works so well. And oh my god, that bridge section, that instrumental bridge section, sex. Also, right now I'm pretty damn sure that Alex Band is a pre-programmed drum bot from the future, because the way he just fills the song with the right amount of craziness and doesn't go overboard, it is just mind-blowing. There is very few drummers that can serve the songs this well and still sound amazing and crazy. I've been spinning this record like crazy and I cannot think about any weak spots on this album, and that is one of the many reasons why this album is my favorite of this year. I'm just so pissed that I got to listen to it so late, because I was just putting it up, you know, listening to other albums, and then I listened to this and I was like, yeah, boy. Yeah, man, I just want to hear all of these songs live right now. So, Corona, if you're watching this, please fuck off forever. That would be really appreciated. Thank you. Now for a little bonus section for the most disappointing album of the year, and that goes to Architects, for those who wish to exist. Now, it is not the worst album of this year, that is for sure, but it's like half of this album. It's alright, you know, some bangers in there like Giving Blood, Black Lungs, Dead Butterflies, but then the other half of the album you have songs like Meteor that just absolutely miss the mark, and the overproduced vocals from Sam, the clean vocals. Sometimes I just feel like, man, how can they like this? Like, it is just, I listened to this once and I was like, man, I picked out a couple of songs and I was like, you know, dude, these are alright, but man, 15 songs, it's a little bit too long as well. I feel like this was more of a testing ground for them to start, you know, actually evolving to a different direction. And I believe that the next album is gonna be much, much better than this one. This is just, yeah, it's not that good. And now for the worst albums of this year. First one, I don't even want to talk about it. A Day to Remember. You're welcome. I'm not gonna talk about it. You're welcome. Don't listen to it. Trust me. What I'm going to talk about though is another really, really bad record that I have listened to this year, and that is, unfortunately, it pains me to say this, but it's Bullet for My Valentine's self-titled album. Now they have been saying, yeah, we're going back to the roots, you know, back to the heavy, and you know, that's alright, but just going back to the heavy after releasing Gravity is not gonna, you know, save you, because if you wanna be heavy, you still gotta retain the quality, and the quality in here, it's just not there. Songs are just bland, uninspired, mostly boring. I mean, you have songs like Parasite, Knives. These songs are alright, but, you know, they lose their fun factor really fast for me personally. The only one song that I feel like it's worth mentioning is Death by 1,000 Cuts. I feel like at the end of the album they were like, oh yeah, this is the stuff, but, you know, a little too late, I would say. So yeah, guys, that is my 2021 album list. Top albums, worst albums, and some disappointments. I hope that 2021 is gonna be, again, filled with great music, because 2021 was really great in this regard, in my opinion. So yeah, hope you guys will have a great New Year's Eve. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in 2022. So, cheers!